Hi, and welcome to my first floss tube. I love to cross stitch, and I've been cross stitching for 40 years, given most of my stuff away. I do have some things for myself, but not very many. And so I had pulled out a project, which is this angel one, that I started many years ago. And so this is the pattern. And this is spring and summer, and as you can see, I had started with summer and finished her, and then I started on autumn, which is her, and this was from an old Leisure Arts magazine, and you can see spring goes in between the winter and the summer angels. I think there were different times in my life where, you know, life just gets in the way. And cross stitch, even though it's a pleasure at times, kind of cross stitch can also be hectic and stressful by doing all of the counting when you don't have the mindset. So this is on my list to finish this year, because I had said in a previous video that one of my goals this year is to pull out old projects and finish projects. And I have a lot of them to finish, but I also have some new projects that I'm going to start. And I'm hoping that this YouTube channel will kind of keep me rolling. So this is a project I got off of Etsy. It's actually a gift for my ex-therapist who retired, and she loves cats. And so one of the things I had wanted to do for her retirement was to make and give her a cross-stitch sampler with the cats on it. And I used 2 sulky threads, and this is a variegated one with greens, and this is kind of a turquoise teal solid. And I got those off of Amazon. So this is actually a finish that I finished in 2012, but I've never framed. So my goal this year is to get this project framed. And as you can see from 2012, this is a pretty old pattern that I have just stashed away and never framed because framing is expensive. And this was another finish that I am going to get framed this year, and I will show you that. There is a matching one in one of these old magazines. This was 2002. That's when I finished it, so it tells you how long it's been sitting in my closet. Anyway, it has 2 angels on it. And it's another Christmassy one. And I will pull that out when I find it, but it is on my list to try to get to this year, at least to start. I guess you can see I love Christmas ones. This is a pattern that I started a long time ago too, and it's called Joys of the Season. And I pulled this out of a book, and there may be a time down the road where I will just do a giveaway on some of my really old magazines and my cross-stitch books, because obviously they'll be out of print, they're really hard to find, and some of these old patterns are just fun to do. But of course you can see this was another sampler. And I have one more start, which this is an Our Father, which art in heaven prayer. This is from a really old leaflet, 1990. But that's what it's supposed to look like. So it's not very much left. Little beads. Okay, and so now this is a start, was going to be a start, I should say, for the 4 Seasons samplers. And this one is summer. And these are the Janlin kits. So the kits include the thread and the fabric. But I decided to use a different fabric. So I purchased the fabric off of Etsy a while back, about a year ago, I think. And then this is the autumn one. And so this one was going to be winter. So it pulled it out probably, I would say around September, October of last year to start getting started on it, and then life kind of got in the way. Pretty. And I know it's full coverage. I don't know what I'm getting myself into. When I pulled it out in 2023 to be a project that I wanted to at least start on and maybe map out and see if I can try to do one a quarter, which maybe that's, you know, wishful thinking. But even as pretty as it is, I'm so sick of winter, it's just not going to happen. So I pulled out the spring one. I haven't got them carded up yet, but I will do that and then get my package ready for that. But this project will be for this spring sampler. So hopefully when I do my FlossTube next week, which I'm hoping to do one a week, either on a Sunday or a Monday, at least film it on a Sunday or a Monday and hopefully get it up like by a Wednesday or so, I will have a start on this to show you my progress. So other than the cross stitch for the spring sampler, this will be a project I will be starting. I have not yet picked out the fabric for it yet, but I purchased this off of Etsy. Goes with a larger set, but I'm only going to be making at least this one for now for one of my great nieces. I just made this one for her older sister, but I have to have this one done by September. So this is also a project. I actually purchased off of Facebook. She had announced her Signs of Christmas frame stitch along. And so this one, which is called Sleigh Rides, I just received the pattern for, and it is for April. I'm at least going to try to get the stitchings on the side and this one square done. We'll see how I do. The queen of procrastination here. But anyway, so it comes in really nice large patterns that are very easy to see. Some are in color, some are in black and white, so whichever you prefer. So this was the fabric I had originally pulled out and then decided that I wanted to use sulky threads instead of these, because I really hate separating threads. But you know, in the case of a kit, I'm not going to waste that thread, so I'm going to use it. But I've gravitated more towards the 12 weight sulky thread because I can just use one thread. But I need to have at least a 16 or 18 count equivalent, either Aida cloth or Monaco or Lagana, you know, some kind of even weave. If you use it with anything less than a 16 count, it doesn't look quite as nice. So I guess pay attention to that if you're going to use the sulky 12 weight. And the last thing that I am going to show you, which was a complete experiment, because I've never done it before, and I wanted to see how to do it. So I did look at some YouTube channels, and I will post those channels below if I can still find them. But so I tried it, and this fabric was not white. It was more of an ivory color, cream ivory color. I would say pretty close to this shade. This is linen, and as you can see, the edges of course got more done, I guess I want to say, once I put it in the oven, kind of burnt. But I wasn't really worried about the edges. I mean, we don't cross stitch on the edges anyway. And my thought too was if they burnt a little bit, maybe they'd keep them from fraying, but who knows. I'm going to have to wash it and dry it anyway, so we'll see. But out of curiosity, I thought, okay, well, this soaked for a couple hours. And I just used Taster's Choice instant coffee. And when I was getting to the place where I just didn't like the color, it just wasn't changing much, I decided, you know, I'm just going to play. So I added cocoa powder, baking cocoa powder, into there just to see what would happen, because I like the colors of chocolate more than I like the colors of the coffee. And so I did kind of like how the center part turned out. And I don't know whether you can see that very well, but yeah, you probably can't see that very well. There is some modeling on it, so I am pleased with that part. I just don't like to stitch on linen, and I don't know why. I've had this piece for a really long time, but the reason why I don't like to is because it's so crooked to me, and it just drives me crazy. So I don't know if this is a piece I'll use or not, but for me it was a good experiment. So then what I thought was, what I would check to see is how it would do on white Aida cloth. Would it do better? And so this is what it turned out on white Aida cloth, and I really do like some of this modeling. Well, I know with a little bit of practice I would probably be able to get more of this all over. But this would still be something that would be doable, but this was just a scrap fabric. This was another one that I like actually much better, and I could see me doing something small on this one for sure. These were some little off-white pieces that were originally about the color of this that I just threw in there to see what the cream Aida cloth would look like. And so I did those, and there's a little bit of modeling on that. I mean, they were tiny pieces, I mean, for heaven's sakes, you know. So it did work, and as you can see, some of these are just, you know, one side's one color, one side's the other. But again, this was white Aida cloth, cream colored Aida cloth, and this was the kind of cream ivory colored linen. So that was my experiment, and it was fun. Can I tell you how much coffee I put in there? I don't know, maybe half a cup, and maybe, I don't know, a couple quarts of water in a small pan. And then for the cocoa, I bet probably half a cup as well. Anyway, that was my experiment with coffee dyeing, and actually this one was a Mocha coffee dye. Okay, very quickly here, today as I was editing, I received already one of the Etsy fabrics that I ordered for cross stitch, and I don't know if this is the one for the Christmas stitch along, but we were going to take a quick look. I just wanted to show you. So this is the Zweigart Lugana Murano count 32 in the Vintage Country Mocha, which was, I think, a color that was actually recommended by the Facebook gal. And this is a size 18 by 27, and I had ordered 2 of those. They're 52% cotton, and it looks like 48% rayon. And she sent it in a really pretty package. I almost hate to open it. And this is a little thank you. I guess we'll see what's in there. And you get a needle threader, a couple of pretty pink plastic thread holders. Those are nice. I love pink. It's like my favorite color, so I might have to see where she got that, and then just thank you. Thank you so much for your support. I mean, I really like purchasing items off of Etsy and supporting the small sellers. So I'm very anxious to see. Oh, okay. So I had ordered another one too that was a lighter color with a lot of modeling on it that was just too much to resist. But this is really pretty. Now see, that's what I was going for, but you know, it didn't even come close on mine. But this will be the fabric that I will be using for the sleigh ride. And then have some probably left over both on this, and then I have a whole nother one for something else, and it is a 32 count. So that's good. Matches my Band-Aid. Anyway, just wanted to open that up and show you that.